I ran on an explicitly progressive platform, which I was able to do in my district, which is a Democratic district. It's not nearly as Democratic as New York City, for example, but it is, I'm favored to win. And these are the suburbs of New York City, parts of Westchester and all of Rockland counties. And to have done so well in the primary, I think really speaks to the fact that people are hungry for change. I am a candidate unlike anything this district has ever seen at this level, not just because I'd be the first Black and the first openly gay, or because I'd make American history as the first openly gay Black member of Congress, but also because I don't come from money or from a political family, right? I grew up in Section 8 housing and on food stamps, and this is the 19th most affluent congressional district in the country. So I think it shows that when you have actual support, institutional support, in my case, grassroots, Working Families Party, and people who, by the grace of God, got interested in this race, like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, and the New York Times, that you can actually win with financial support, by the way, which is another key component. And so please donate to congressional candidates who are trying to change this country for the better, because what we're saying means nothing if people don't know what we're talking about and they haven't heard of us because we don't have the money to get our message out to the electorate.
Now, my district, newly created as a result of the gerrymandering lawsuit, 25% of the district is brand spanking new. The incumbent has never run in it. We can win this district. We can flip it from red to blue. The district is experiencing changing demographics. You look in the western part, that's perhaps the most conservative part of it. It's much younger, more educated. Folks are coming into this Sunbelt state in numbers that are changing the traditional value. 41 to 43% of the district is in my home county. I've been elected successfully 5 times from here, and that is huge for us. We have a tremendous amount of momentum. That momentum has come about because we've outraised our Republican opponent in the second quarter. It's come about because the polling is showing that we're in a statistical tie with this 4-term incumbent. And then the number of Democratic allies that we have, the team is growing exponentially. And so we can flip this seat. And we just need the resources to help communicate that message to our voters.
And my district is winnable. It's the least gerrymandered district in the state of Ohio. Gerrymandered nonetheless, but the least. It's R+4. Sherrod Brown won the district by 6 points. It's rooted in a swing county, Montgomery County. It's an Obama-Trump pivot county. Trump won it by less than 1 point. We have an opportunity to win here. I outraised my Republican opponent in the second quarter, as well as Pat. We both outraised our Republican opponents with grassroots support. My opponent is very upset about that. He is on TV right now trying to attack me and associate me to Republican dark money because he can't figure out why this working class raised Black girl from West Dayton outraised him last quarter by more than $300,000. And so we are running a people-powered movement to bring change to our community. And I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about the energy and momentum we have on the ground here. I do believe the district is purple. And I think in November we can turn it blue with the right resources.
Congress does have a role to play in what I and others call democracy reforms. There's a bill that's pending right now in Congress. It's called H.R. 1, House Resolution 1. It was passed by the Democratic-controlled House of Representatives in March of 2019, but like all good legislation, it went to die in the Senate under the reign of Mitch McConnell. It's also called the For the People Act, and a number of things that it does are critically important. So automatic voter registration, that makes voting more accessible. And also, I think, restores trust or improves the way that people feel about the democratic process. When people know that everybody had the ability to exercise their right to vote, they're more likely to be comfortable with the final outcome, knowing that everybody's expressed intention was assessed, counted, whatever you want to call it. It also eliminates partisan gerrymandering. which is something that the judge was just talking about. You know, when we eliminate partisan gerrymandering and create independent redistricting commissions, like what former Attorney General Holder has been advocating at the national level for several years now, we get a better result. And this really, it should not be a Democrat versus Republican thing. We should be thrilled whenever we see congressional districts drawn that give people a fighting chance at making their case before the electorate, and letting sort of ideas control rather than party hacks control what the final outcome will be. It creates a system of public financing in congressional elections. I say that as someone who just emerged from, Rachel, what you described as a very crowded eight-person field, where my second place opponent spent $5.4 million. He is the son of a founder and CEO of a pharmaceutical company who happens to be a billionaire. And so he was able to just throw many millions of dollars into this primary. My primary was June 23rd. He had been advertising on broadcast television, which was, for me, prohibitively expensive until the final weeks of the race, since March, bombarding Democrats in the district since March with mail from March until June 23rd. And so we have to level the playing field. We have to make it more accessible, you know, for folks from working class environments like the way I grew up, to be able to marshal the resources to get their message out to the electorate. And I think that we, as I've said over the course of this campaign thus far, get better policy outcomes when we have people from working class backgrounds who understand that this economy was broken for the vast majority of American households even before Donald Trump got elected in 2016.
As an African-American woman that served 28 years in the judiciary of North Carolina, last serving on our court of last resort, the Supreme Court of North Carolina, I have always understood that I needed to be, quote unquote, over-credentialized in order to get the same attention or recognition that other candidates have received. And as I campaign around the state, having run 5 times successfully, as I go and present myself and ask for support from allies that I would have expected to readily be in my corner, I see a hesitancy, or perhaps it best can be described as less energy or enthusiasm for the cause. But you know, just like Desiree and Mondaire, we don't allow that to keep us from moving forward. My late father, a sergeant in the U.S. Army, an infantryman, would regularly tell me growing up, don't you let folks come and stomp on your toe and take your focus away from what it is that you're seeking to do. There are people in life that will intentionally do that to cause you to lose focus. And so when I was denied confirmation to a federal judgeship in North Carolina after the ABA unanimously found me well qualified, I did not let that stop me. And so I'm running for Congress in the 8th Congressional District. And I have to tell you that my father's training and teachings have come back. And I see now what he was saying. I'm committed to serving the people. And just because folks deny you one opportunity to serve, remain focused on what it is that you want to do.
Sometimes on the ground, people are like, well, why aren't you running for school board? And I have to tell them, because I've spent the last decade working the halls of Congress. I'm also young, right? And so there's that aspect too. And people go, well, you know, you're just starting out. Maybe you want to do something that's easier. You'll get more support. You'll be able to build your name. And I said, well, do you know how old Martin Luther King was when he led a movement? We have a monument in Washington, D.C. dedicated to that. You know how old Anne Frank was? Do you know how old all of the people who have led movements for change were when they changed our country for the better? So not only is my age a non-factor, um, but I'm qualified. I'm qualified without the law degree, without the training at Yale. I'm qualified without Sherrod Brown, Kirsten Gillibrand, or Barack Obama on my resume or their names behind me with their endorsements. I'm qualified because I want to support my community. I'm qualified because I'm the granddaughter of sharecroppers who picked cotton so that I could go to college one day and be the first in my family to reach those achievements. I'm qualified because I live in a food desert and I know what it's like to struggle to get spinach, but I can get a Snickers bar down the street. I'm qualified because I go outside 3 times a week. I live 1 mile away from a sewage dump and it smells like sewage in the air. And I know what that means for Black and brown kids in my community who have asthma. I'm qualified because I'm ready to do the job that needs to be done.